All right, today we're going on a really fascinating journey. Not to some faraway place, but somewhere much, much closer, deep inside your own mind. We're going to pull apart the very idea of you, and then we're going to peek into the future of consciousness itself.
So let's just jump right in with a pretty wild question to get us started. Is that feeling of you, that person you think you are every single day, what if it's all just a biological illusion? Now, this isn't just some abstract philosophical thought experiment. It's a question that goes right to the very wiring of our brains.
So here's the game plan for how we're going to break this all down. First, we're tackling the great self-illusion. Then we'll climb an evolutionary ladder of awareness. After that, we'll get practical and talk about taming your inner caveman. Then things get futuristic with the AI consciousness catalyst. And finally, we'll land on this incredible idea of living your life as a replay.
Okay, first up, the great self-illusion. Look, before we can even dream about what we could become, we have to get brutally honest about what we are, right now, at a purely biological level. We have to deconstruct the I.
Okay, so this right here, this gets to the absolute core of your identity. You know that feeling of being a continuous you, the one that woke up this morning and is the same person who went to bed last night? Well, it comes from something called neural persistence. Just imagine this constant, high-frequency electrical hum inside your skull. It's this biological signal that creates the sensation of continuity, and we mistake that hum for a core self, for an I.
Now, if that neural hum is the baseline, then memory is what builds a story around it. But here's the thing about memory. It is not a perfect video recording of your life. Not even close. It's a survival tool. Its job is to cherry-pick data to help you predict and avoid danger in the future. I mean, think about it. If your memory wiped clean every single second, where would I go? It would just vanish.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's this. Your thoughts, that inner voice, your worries, your big plans, they aren't the real you. They're just the survival software of a biological machine constantly crunching numbers to keep you safe. They are the hum, right? But you are not the hum.
So how did we even get here? How did we figure this stuff out? Well, in our next section, we're going to climb up the evolutionary ladder and trace the history of our own awareness. It's a pretty amazing story. You can really see our self-awareness evolving in 3 big jumps. So, way back, it was all about physical identification, super basic. I am this body. If this body gets hurt, I get hurt. Simple. Then, we made this massive leap forward to mental differentiation. This is the sage's big insight. Wait a minute, my thoughts are just a process happening in my brain. They aren't me. And that leads to the 3rd stage, the idea of the witness. This is the silent observer state, the idea that your true identity is the consciousness that's just watching both the body and the thoughts go by.
But, and this is where our source material gets really radical, even that witness isn't the final story. It turns out it's also a byproduct. Consciousness isn't some separate little ghost in the machine. It's the emergent, collective resonance of billions of your cells all working together in unison. When they stop working together, it stops. It's that simple and that profound.
Okay, so this all leads to a really practical question for all of us living in the real world. If our minds are basically just noisy survival machines, how on earth are we supposed to get a little peace and quiet? And that's the whole point of Section 3, taming your inner caveman.
When it comes to finding this mental silence, philosophy kind of gives us 2 very different paths. On one side, you've got a thinker like Osho. He's all about the practical method. You use tools like meditation as a kind of scaffolding to build a little space between you and your thoughts. Then, on the complete other side, you've got someone like Krishnamurti, who makes this radical leap. He says any method, any technique is just the ego trying to improve the ego. For him, the only way is this sudden, shocking realization that the observer is the thing being observed. It's a beautiful, profound idea, but for a lot of us, it can turn into a philosophical trap with no clear way to get there.
So philosophy gives us a map, right? But what if there was a way to, to hack the journey, to accelerate it? In this section, we're going to explore how technology, and AI in particular, might just be the ultimate biological cheat code.
So to understand this, we need to talk about a specific brain circuit called the default mode network, or DMN. You can basically think of this as the brain's hardware for your ego. It's the me network. Whenever you're just spacing out, daydreaming, worrying about the future, replaying the past, that's your DMN lighting up. It's the neurological home of the I. And learning how to quiet this network, even for a moment, is an absolute game changer. Things like deep meditation, or just getting lost in a state of flow when you're working on something you love, can temporarily shut it down. And when that happens, you get this direct experience of life without the ego's constant chatter. The payoff is incredible. You get total emotional control. You see emotions as just storms passing through. Your creativity goes through the roof because there's no inner critic, and you just feel this deep, profound tranquility of being in the present moment.
But there's a catch. Even knowing all of this, we're still up against one final, massive obstacle, and it's our own hardware.
See, the problem is we are all running on a very, very old operating system. Our brains are hardwired with caveman circuitry. It's a survival program that defaults to hypervigilance, constant threat scanning, and anxiety. Now, that was fantastic for avoiding saber-toothed tigers, but in our modern world, it's the main reason we feel so much stress and mental noise.
And this is where AI could change everything, and I mean everything. Not just as a tool to do our work faster, but as an exoskeleton for the psyche. Just imagine being able to offload the entire mental burden of survival, the constant planning, optimizing, worrying, and predicting, to an external intelligence. If that cognitive load is lifted, our biological need for constant anxiety could just fade away, leaving our minds free to operate from a place of quiet, present focus.
Okay, let's pull all of this together in our final section, life as a replay. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is how we actually live with this new understanding, and honestly, it's the most empowering part of this whole thing.
Most of us, most of the time, live in a state of becoming. We're constantly driven by this tension to improve, to achieve, to get somewhere else. Think about a really stressful work presentation. You're anxious, you're worried about what people will think, you're playing to survive. The shift is into a state of being. This is where you act as if life is a replay you've already seen. In that same presentation, the fear is just gone. You act with total precision and grace, not because the stakes aren't real, but because your identity, your I, isn't tied to the outcome anymore.
And really, this is the core idea you can walk away with and apply to your life today. The ultimate state is to live as if the game has already been won. The moment you truly internalize that the self is just a biological construct, that crushing pressure to prove yourself, to win, to survive, it just dissolves. All that's left is the pure experience of playing the game. And that leaves us with this final, powerful idea to really chew on. We no longer play for survival. We play for the sake of the play itself. So when that noisy, anxious survival hum of the machine finally quiets down, what beautiful game will you choose to play?